Hi, Julie Jones from SSB Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training, here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week, brought to you by Game Day Sportswear. This week we're talking about stop calling your team a family unless you do this. It's September 1st, Labor Day. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. September 1st means prospects all over the country are being called by college coaches, at least in the sport of softball, and it's an exciting day. And I bet, based on good evidence, that a lot of coaches out there are talking to recruits and saying, our team is like a family. We're a family. I did it. Most of the coaches that I work with do it because they're wonderful human beings and they do really care about their kids just like I cared about all the ones that played for us, even the ones that didn't stay. We talk about family, and it's admirable. We want the parents of these athletes to know that we are going to care for their children when they come and become a part of our program. But here's the question. Is that really the right analogy or metaphor? Does it set us up for a bit of confusion? When we call a team a family, everyone out there, under every rooftop in the United States and beyond, everyone has a different definition of family. For some, it's unconditional love. And in most cases, that no matter what happens, even if you say the wrong thing at Thanksgiving, you bring up politics, no one is cutting you from the family. It's not based on your performance. It's not based on behaviors, on whether or not people love you or keep you as a part of the group. Conversely, most people don't leave a family because they're not happy. They don't go move into the house next door because they think they're going to be happier there, because they're going to get more stuff there, or they're going to get more opportunity there. No, we don't do that. We stay with our family. And that is why it's confusing. And if we do let someone go off the team, in families, you don't get cut. You don't not make the team. You don't get put off because of a new roster cap. If that happens, that causes a lot of anger. We were family. I've got a great example of it. When I was coaching, we had a kid that I threw out of the dugout during a game. I wasn't real pleased with her behavior, and she goes up into the stands, and after a tirade of telling everyone that she didn't like my decision, she comes back into the dugout. And I thought, well, that's weird. I wonder if my assistants, said, hey, come back, we'll work this out. And I'm fine if that would have been the case, but it wasn't the case. She just came back in. I later asked her, I said, what made you think that you were welcome back in the dugout? She goes, that's my family in there. That's what you tell us. That is my family in there, and nothing can keep me from my family. And that's not true, and you know it. Her family was in the stands. Her teammates were in the dugout. There's a difference. And whether we like it or not, there is a difference. Another example, when I was coaching, I remember a good friend of mine said, why aren't you recruiting that kid? I said, because I've heard her talk to her mother. Have you heard her talk to her mother? Like, her mom may take that, but I don't have to. So I'm telling my kids in one case, which makes the kids say, hey, that's my family in there, that we're a family and we're in this together. And then I'm looking at other kids, I'm like, well, we're not a family. I don't have to take that crap. I'm not her mother. I don't know I was that flippant about it, but you get the picture. Our team is not our family. But maybe we can still continue to use that. But whether or not we do, it's not the same. And we have to be very clear on how it's different. Family equals one set of scenarios and expectations, and a team has other expectations, competition, certain behaviors, accountability to certain things for the program, not for the individuals. A team is different. JP Nerbun, the host of Coaching Culture podcast, says it's essential to create a supportive and close-knit team environment, right? But it might not be the right moniker that we should use. He suggests that we should be clear about the nature of team. It's a group of individuals working together toward a common goal, right? A little bit different. It's not an unbreakable, unconditional, even dysfunctional or abusive family unit, depending on what type of family all these kids come from. It's important that we define. When we use analogies or metaphors like family, we have to let people understand that, there's a lot of different things. Sometimes difficult choices come up and you can't be here anymore. Families will fight to the end to save their son or daughter that can't help themselves with some sort of addiction or different problems. And coaches will do that too, but there's a point where that stops. And that brings confusion for people. You're giving up on me. No, this is what I have to do because this is a team and these are the things that we hold, the standards we have. It's different. But here's the truth of it. We can still call our team a family if we really want to. But we have to define what that means to us. We have to define everything. Hard work to me and hard work to you are two totally different things. Love to me and love to you are two totally different things. So if we're going to use metaphors or analogies or whatever we're going to use to call things a certain name, we've got to define exactly what that means. We also have to define exactly what we mean when we say, you're going to run to this point. Or these are the expectations that I have of you. Everything needs to be defined. Even my former assistant coach, who was with me for 14 years, she's my best friend, we still run a business together. We have different definitions of things. And the only times that we had trouble working together was when our definitions didn't match. If we don't define what we expect in behavior, then we are going to be disappointed all the time. And the person on the other side is going to be frustrated. You told me to work hard. I'm working hard. No, you're not. You're not working hard. That's not hard work. Well, what is hard work? We have to describe what connections to other people mean in our family or on our team. What does a connection mean? What does holding someone accountable mean? What does it mean to show up to practice on time? Does it mean when you're on time, you're actually late? We do a better job of explaining those things, but there are so many concepts that we have to be very clear on. Coach from England, Mark Bennett, uses acceptable, unacceptable, and exceptional. That we need to define what those three things are and what they behave like. Performance is a behavior, communication is behavior, and expectations are met through behaviors. So it's our job as we lead to define what our expectations are and how they look, feel, emote, and live. What do they live like? Just like last week, we talked about what our visions or our rehearsals live like. What are our behaviors that will match the expectations? What do I need to do to make the expectation, to hit the expectation? How do I need to explain this so that when the person does it, they get it so I'm not pissed? That's where this makes a difference. The language we use and the depth in which we define things makes a huge difference in how people work and what we get and how we relate to each other. If we don't make distinctions on how we're to manage tough conversations or speaking up or disappointment and all these kinds of things, we might set people up for so with all kinds of different ideas on what they're supposed to do, because in a family, sometimes you're supposed to forgive or forget, but in a team, maybe you can't do that. We need to address things. When something comes up, we have 24 hours or somebody else is going to start taking that in. Maybe we've got a rule that if you can't take care of yourself, your teammate has to intervene. And if the teammates don't intervene, then it's time for the coach to intervene. Whatever it is, we have to have step by step by step. This is what our behaviors need to be in order to be who we say we're going to be. A family, a team, an organization, whatever. But if we're not going to call it a family, then what can we call it? Well, John O'Sullivan, one of my favorite podcast hosts from The Way of Champions, says maybe we call it a community. Because again, people don't get cut. People don't have to try out for a family. People don't leave because of NIL. They don't leave because of the transfer portal. They don't leave families in that way. It's different. Maybe it's a community where everyone's contribution is welcomed and revered for its own thing, but people come and people go, just like on a team. whether we like it or not, kids graduate and they're gone. And then they move on to a different stage of their life. That doesn't happen really in families either. I'm certain that as long as I'm alive, my commitment to my son is going to be exactly the same as it is today, if not more. Even when I'm 100 and he's 60. What we say matters, what we call ourselves matters, and it immediately suggests expectations of behavior. So we have to define those things. So we can keep calling ourselves a family if we like, but we have to be sure that everyone around us understands exactly what type of family we are and what behaviors that draws of us. What do we have to do? Couldn't find the right word there. What do we have to do to be a part of this family? And then when we don't do those things, what happens next? So we just have to be deliberate. We have to be intentional, because our language matters, our definitions matter, our metaphors matter, everything matters to how those we lead are going to walk the walk and talk the talk about what we want our culture or our program or our business or our team to be. So good luck with your new families and finding your new families, if that's what you still want to call it. Good luck with a new community that you're building. Good luck with your team. But whatever you want to call it and whatever you want them to do, just be sure that you let them know what acceptable is, what is unacceptable, and what exceptional looks and lives like. And then everybody will feel more cohesive no matter what we're called. Until next week, if you have comments or thoughts about this, I would love to hear them. JulieJ@ssbperformance.com. I'd love to hear from any perspectives on this. And until next week, have a great week.